now.
I say it every day with the people that I'm around. It's not that people are dumb, maybe ignorant. Ignorant means unaware of how things work. We've really realized this in the last 6 months about a lot of things.
How about that?
I'm not criticizing you. I've just never met anybody like that before. Everybody in my circle likes a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything. But that's the whole idea of diversifying, right? Variety is the spice of life.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Here we go. What is it today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
April the 20th. We're coming at you live out of the bunker here in Western Canada, and this is Canada's daytime sports talk show. I'm trying to find the screen here, Darren, that brings up all the comments. There's a ton coming in. I just feel like today's going to be a real fun show. They all are, but today even extra.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Yeah.
Part of the reason.
You know.
Yeah, we're all great. Except for our dang Prairie Mobile text line phone. What is wrong with our monkey brains?
I know.
That we always forget to plug this thing in.
Should be, at the end of the day, when show's over, should go plug it in, or I should come and grab it before I leave at the end of the day.
There should be a checklist of. So anyway, for now, it's very faint on here. It's in battery-saving mode. So don't text me. For the next 30 minutes, we'll throw this thing on the charge, and then we'll get to you on the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777. Part of the reason I'm excited is the guest coming on today, our good friend Mo Egger from ESPN Radio Cincinnati. The Bengals revealed their uniforms here yesterday, and people just can't believe that. Like, Mo Egger he destroyed me, melted me on his show.
Right, I remember.
And I thought it was funny. He thought I'd hate him. No. Because we air all through Cincinnati on the Buckeye cable systems on Game Plus TV network. So they watch us down there. I'm like, hey, Mo, come on, Mo. So not only is he going to come on and talk about the Bengals uniforms, but the Cincinnati Reds are number one in the NL Central. How about that? So we got some things to talk with Mo Egger about, and hockey things if it comes up. And then in hour two from the Outsiders podcast up in Edmonton, Bryn Griffiths and Robin Brownlee, two grizzled vets of the media trade. We'll talk some Oilers, CFL, Edmonton football team, whatever else is coming up. So all the friends are coming together today, as usual. I was thinking about this, by the way, this is a club, our crew around here, and all the viewers, but it's not exclusive. Anybody can come into the club.
Right.
The only rules are respect each other, don't be a jerk, and you're good with us.
That's it.
It's pretty simple.
Pretty easy club to be a part of.
So let's hit the quick 6 show topics, please, and thank you. Number one, where's my phone? Monday NHL leftovers. This could take up the whole 16 minutes of the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace, because just before we went to air, you brought us some topics here. Number one, Patty Marleau becomes the NHL's career games played record holder last night with the Golden Knights win the Sharks game in Vegas, which the Golden Knights won in a shootout. I watched the whole game. Mrs. P watched it with me, and she enjoyed it. And they did it right. But here's my thinking. They didn't honor him before the game, which I kind of thought that they might. And I think that a lot of times teams and leagues go over the top with their ceremonies and stuff. Not in this case, man.
Right.
This is one of the key records of all time for games played. So Patty starts in the starting 5, and then after his first whistle, they halt the game. They show his family. They play a video from Gary Bettman, which was entirely too long, Gary, but still good. And he talked about how the importance of the accomplishment of surpassing Mr. Hockey. Patty raised his stick, and then on with the game they went. And it was good. Then it went to a shootout. I watched every second. And Patty, the hockey gods are like, no, you're not scoring, Pat. He was the first guy to go in the shootout. He didn't score. I don't know if you saw the highlights.
Yeah.
And I guess, so the Golden Knights go on to win, Canada's team. And they're now the number one overall team in the National Hockey League. Patty got appropriately feted in all is right in the world. Apparently there was this ceremony after the game, but as soon as the shootout was over, I'm like, click. I guess there was something after the game. I don't know. I was out by then.
It's over.
But I'm taking up too much time on point one of the leftovers, but I want to get Darren's take on this. So some of the Toronto media is poo-pooing Patrick Marleau, and I don't care. I saw the uproar and uprising on Twitter last night. I'm like, off. And I'm good. Like, you got to stop arguing with people on Twitter, folks. It's going to put you in an early grave. I don't care what they say in Toronto about Patrick. I don't care what they say about Gordie Howe, because I love Gordie too. I knew him. I interviewed him. Super guy. The top 2 guys in pro hockey and NHL are Saskatchewan guys. So who cares what they say in Toronto? But what is your take on what's coming, the noise from out east?
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's all it is noise. And if you have to go out of your way to point out that Gordie Howe's better, we all know that Gordie Howe's better than Patrick Marleau. You don't have to point that out. And if you do, like, I hate when we want to crap all over somebody else's accomplishments just to point out that this is happening and that this happened before. You know what? Be happy for Patrick Marleau. The record is the record. He has it now. Forget about what anybody else did in the past. This is what we're celebrating tonight. Gordie's had his time, and he will continue to have his time, being talked about as one of the top 2, 3, 4, 5 greatest players of all time in the game. Patrick Marleau's not knocking him off that pedestal.
Nobody's saying that.
So just forget about everybody else. Let's talk about Patrick Marleau.
Yeah, and so it's brought up the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, and it was Clark's idea. Real nice, Clark. Should the NHL and WHA merge stats? Because if they did, Gordie Howe would still be the leader. 61% of you on Twitter saying no, they should not. Darren, what are they on? 58?
58% say nah.
Say no, they should not. If you watched the Golden Knights game, Lawless in order, Gary Lawless in between periods explaining that the NFL and the American Football League merge stats. I believe he mentioned the NBA and the American Basketball Association merge stats. Clark has told me the old Negro leagues have merged stats with Major League Baseball. So like literally every other sport but the NHL and hockey has.
Yeah.
And people are saying no, they shouldn't. I'm sort of like, I don't really have a thought on it. Sell me on it. WHA was before my time, let alone before your time.
I know.
But that doesn't make it any less important. But they're not merging the CFL stats with the NFL stats. So it would be a fun topic. But I'll just say this. What they say down east, what Simmons, I like Steve Simmons. He's a good guy. Aside from what Austin Matthews might think of him, I don't have a problem with Steve Simmons. But I also don't care what he thinks about Patrick Marleau. That's possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody thinks other than Patrick Marleau, because I know the kid. I love the kid. He set the record for all-time games played in the NHL. What are we talking about here? Why is this a problem?
I know.
So moving on. CFL Board of Governors to meet today, we're told. And this is interesting. I guess that they're voting, from what I hear, on the announcement. They're voting on whether they should delay training camps. Well, what choice do they have? And I'll just throw this out, that a CFL current player texted me yesterday and he said, Rod, I heard that we're going to start July 1st, the season. And I said, who told you that? And he said, a player rep. He was a player rep last year. He's not anymore. And I said, I don't think that's true. Thanks for asking me, but I don't think, if that was the case, I don't think they could keep it a secret. Because CFL leaders supposedly signed non-disclosure agreements on the XFL thing, and within 48 hours, I got one calling me, telling me everything. So I don't think how they could keep that a secret. Right? So that's point 2. We'll wait and see what comes out of the CFL today. Rolling into point 3 of the quick 6. Just when I felt like we were ready to move on and look at other things, this news, the media goes off. CFL media yesterday. Dan Barnes, who is highly reputable, integrity, journalistic-wise, Dan Barnes of the Edmonton Journal, saying that at least one team in the CFL thinks they can survive 2 years without playing. My mind immediately went to, well, then they're not going to play. That's the third hurdle of the 3 hurdles identified, was convincing everybody to play. Then look like they could. Where did your mind go when you heard that?
To that a little bit, it's like, no, we can survive not playing. That tells me that's your first thought, or that's the road you're leaning towards.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah, you lean towards not playing. So it's, how do you not draw that conclusion from it? Not that they decided not to play. Like, I'm not there yet, but that's the road they're exploring and talking about and leaning towards, in my mind, when that comes out. We can survive not playing, guys. We can survive not playing for 2 years, which tells me that's what they're trying to push. But
so that's what you got out of it, because I got out of it too. And the tweet is resurfacing where I said the chances of the CFL playing are 60-40 no. The XFL guys or CFL News, somebody tweeted it, and Farhan said, well, I think it's 95% they will or higher. Do you see this mass confusion of where the CFL is right now, which leads to what Jeff Hamilton wrote from the Winnipeg Free Press. So I guess he doesn't like me very much, but that's fine. I got enough friends. I respect what Jeff does journalistically, and I don't know him personally. That's why I wouldn't say anything about him personally. I think he's a very good writer. But he said, this is a joke. If you want to know why Canadians are ticked off at the CFL right now, it's because there is so much confusion, and they're using TSN to push an agenda. Farhan Dave Naylor. They're the PR arm of the CFL owners, and it's upsetting now the rest of the media across the country. When I said I was ready to move on, I've been beating this drum for 6 weeks, and I'm the jerk. So I was ready to move on and talk about other things. And now you got Vanstone on him, Jeff Hamilton's on him, you got Dan Barnes saying this. I don't think it's changed anything, but I'm saying that everybody else has sort of jumped on the train of CFL. What the hell are you doing? Because I said to my wife this morning, if you go to 3 Dunk Nation right now, the top 3 stories all say different things. The owner of the Alouettes wants to merge with the XFL in one story. Next one, the quote from Dan Barnes that they think they can skip 2 years. The third story, Jeff Hamilton going off on the CFL for being so secretive. They have no idea what they're doing. Is that not very clear?
Yeah, and we brought it up this week, yesterday. What path are they on? Can they all get on the same page? And clearly, nobody can get on the same page. Not us in the media, not the ownership, not the league. Nobody's on the same page as to where this league's going, what needs to be done, what we should be doing, what's going to happen. So if there's this much confusion right now, we're nowhere near starting a season.
No, not even close. No. I think that's why that tweet's being regurgitated now, where I said 60% to the no. And that's why I'm standing my ground on everything that I report, because, and I'm unwavering on my reports on the MLSE stuff, where the CFL's at, because we've got people writing into the show here that are saying, I don't know who Rod's sources are, but he's 100% bang on. One of those was Adrian Tracy. We can say it now because he retired. You want to mention that?
Yeah, just that they're watching, and, they make it sound like we may think that, it may sound like we're right at the board table. We're not, but we know what's happening. And at the end of the day, though, I think this is still good for the Canadian Football League.
What?
That we continue to have these discussions and talk about it every day. And even if it is mass chaos and confusion, and we're not getting anywhere close to starting a season or learning anything, the fact that we're talking about this every day makes me kind of put it up against the NHL when they're in lockout phase, right? Or the other big leagues where they get talked about 24/7, 365. The league, I know they probably don't like it, but it's really, really good for them.
I was just going to say for the 868th time, it is good for them, but they don't think it's good for them. They'd rather do all this in secrecy, and I fortunately don't work for them anymore, so we can do whatever we want, because I don't agree with them. Never have. Zach Nelson's watching in Calgary. He's written in on the comments and says, I've had discussions with my watch party friends about this, and if the CFL doesn't play, we think they will fold. Of course. But you see Dan Barnes reporting that owners think they won't fold. They have no clue. They operate in a vacuum. So if you don't know what that means, they have no idea what's going on outside the vacuum. They're on their own little vacuum. They have very little interest in getting input from outside the vacuum. And believe me, I've been in that vacuum, so I know. But once I stepped outside the vacuum and saw, whoa, what? There's a whole world out here? They're still in the vacuum. So they think they'll be okay. I was on the radio in Ottawa last week, and they said, Rod, do you think the CFL can survive 2 years without playing? I said, I'm not sure they can survive 1 year without playing. The jury's still out on whether they can survive one.
Yeah, we don't know that that's happened yet.
That whole idea of out of sight, out of mind is an actual thing. And so many people were saying to me, no, in the Canadian Football League, Rod, you don't understand. You don't get it. You're just a dumb radio guy. Okay, well, I don't know. We've been trucking every day on the air. How are they doing? By the way, we got to speed up here because Mo's online from Cincinnati, so hang on. From the Natty. This is the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Order a fabulous Four Seasons pizza and your favorite beverage for takeout and delivery. One-stop shopping. Call or order online. That is the fabulous Four Seasons Sports Palace. Blue Jays, they had Monday off. How about this? They are at Boston tonight, the division leaders. Blue Jays go in 7-9. The Red Sox 11-6. They sweep Boston, and the Jays are in first place in the AL East, and they've done it without George Springer and Teoscar Hernandez. Just saying.
But they got to sweep Boston.
Yeah.
But it can happen.
What's wrong with that?
It could happen.
Boston's been swept already this year, and they're still in first place. So, very exciting game. 5:10 Mountain, first pitch at Fenway. I have a star beside the Dub canceling the playoffs this year. We're kind of out of time here. We'll discuss that later. It's upsetting to me that the Western Hockey League won't have any playoffs, but I understand it. We'll discuss it later. Point 5, Rachel Homan and Bruce Mowat won the Humpties Grand Slam of curling yesterday. And my sixth point is simply this. Does advertising work? Because we mentioned this earlier. The Humpties Grand Slam. I'm in Costco the other day. There's Pinty's wings. Put them in my cart. They support the league. Humpties. Yeah. Are you going to go get a pan scrambler because they're supporting the Grand Slam of curling? What about Great Western beer? I don't drink beer, but if I did, it would be Great Western. But does Team Penske Motor Oil and NASCAR make you go get Penske oil?
I think it's all that subconscious, right? When you're standing at the oil shelf there in the store.
Like I did at Pinty's in front of all those wings.
Exactly. And you're like, I don't know what any of these are, but I've heard of Penske.
Right. That's the oil I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So I'm just, to you people, please tell me, does advertising work? When you see like the Humpties Grand Slam of curling or these certain things, does it make you go, I would hope that it goes and makes you support that product. It does for me, but I've been in sports and media my whole life. So look at Mo Egger. He's the king. You follow his stuff?
Oh, yeah.
He's like the mayor of Papa John's in Cincinnati. And he'll be with us next. Mo Egger, okay, from ESPN Radio Cincinnati. We're going to talk about a lot of fun things. So hang on. This is the warm-up. We're just getting rolling here for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV. And also YouTube and Facebook Live and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpeterson.com. Listen live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.